Hello everyone, it's Molly here from Your Future Forward, and I'm so excited to bring you this brand new series called the Apprentice Diaries. It's completely dedicated to apprentices in celebration of National Apprenticeship Week, and it's full of conversations with loads of different guests from top firms and top companies to give you an insight into what it's really like to be an apprentice. Don't forget to leave a review on Apple Podcasts if you do enjoy them. That would really help us reach more people and help more people that are considering apprenticeship. So it's massively appreciated from our side. But for now, enjoy the episode. So I'm joined with Emilie today from Unilever, who is a project manager apprentice, and she's going to enlighten us on her journey, how she became an apprentice today. So Emilie, it'd be great if you could just introduce yourself with your name. I've kind of introduced the qualification, but I guess a bit about what project management entails and how long you've been working at Unilever as well. That would be great.
Yeah, perfect. So hi Molly, thanks for having me on the
No worries.
I'm really excited. So yeah, as you mentioned, I'm a project management apprentice. I've been working at Unilever since September 2019, so nearing to a year and a half now, and I'm nearing the end of my apprenticeship because it's a 2-year course.
Okay.
So I work as a management apprentice in marketing, so you can be a project management apprentice for a variety of different functions. On my course do like IT or R&D and things like that. But I work in marketing, so I work on the brand side, and what that means is I'm involved in launching new products, which is quite exciting. So really from like the start, creating the ideas for what new products we want to launch, the strategy, and then launching them. So developing the mix, choosing the fragrance, things like that.
Exciting. So I saw on LinkedIn as well, do you specifically work with TRESemmé? Because obviously Unilever is a massive group. They own so many brands. So yeah, how does that work in terms of structure? Are you assigned to one small brand or do you work across a few?
Yeah, so I work on TRESemmé specifically, and I work on the global side. So that means I work
great.
in the US, I work for LATAM,
Oh my gosh.
all of the different countries. So it's really exciting. I get to work with lots of different people from all over the world, from all different backgrounds.
It's amazing. And you kind of mentioned that the project management apprentices get put into different departments. How does that kind of get allocated? Are you chosen from your assessment centres where you suit best, or has that got anything to do with your application?
Yeah, so when you apply, I think you have a choice of 3 preferred options.
Okay.
I believe I put marketing as my first, and then HR, and honestly I can't remember the last one. It was 2 years ago that I applied now, so it was so long ago. And then when you get given the role, you're not told what brand you work for or anything like that, but you'll be told like, yes, you've got the marketing role.
Okay, that's good to know that you can put preferred choices as well, because my apprenticeship at Google, we were kind of just assigned teams to where they thought we suited best. So it's quite interesting to hear a bit of a different structure, I guess, with your company. But yeah, I guess going into project management, why did you choose that? How did you find your apprenticeship? Why did you choose that route? Did you come straight out of school or college or A levels and go into an apprenticeship?
Yeah, so I came straight out of college, finished probably like June, July time, and stopped work at my part-time job in August and started in September. So I didn't really have much of a break between education and then going into my apprenticeship. I think I found the apprenticeship on Facebook or an advert, something like but I'd been looking for apprenticeships already, so I'm pretty sure I was getting quite a few like ads and things.
Targeted ads. Yeah,
exactly. And I looked a bit into the company because I hadn't heard of Unilever itself, but I knew of quite a few of the brands because they're all quite well-known household names. Really loved all the values and everything they stood for, and I was like, yeah, definitely want to apply. The apprenticeship looks great. I'd applied for different apprenticeships. I'd applied for some in project management, some in like business admin, and some in just marketing.
Okay, is that all within Unilever as well?
No,
or across loads of different companies. Okay, right.
Yeah, exactly. For Unilever, I only applied for the project management one. And then, so you go through the process, you send your application in with your CV, and then you get called back for a video interview. So that's done all online, but it's by yourself. So you're not actually talking to somebody, you're like recording yourself and then they watch it. And then I think after a couple of weeks later, I heard back and then had to go for an assessment centre.
Exciting.
After
So
that, I got the call.
Yeah, how long was that process from the start till the end till you actually kind of found out you got the job?
So if I remember correctly, I applied in January, February time.
Okay.
Took a couple of weeks for the video interview and then another few weeks until the assessment centre. And then the assessment centre was around April.
Oh,
and
okay.
You've got 2 weeks before you get called back. And I remember I had actually at the assessment centre, complete coincidence, I already knew one of the girls there.
Oh, nice.
Just like we live in the same town and we didn't realise we would be
small world.
Yeah, it was a complete small world. I was like, oh, hello. And she found out so we'd been told it was 2 weeks, and she found out like a week in or something, and I didn't find out until like the 13th.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely haven't got it. Like she'd already texted me to tell me she'd got it, and I was like, okay, they must be calling the people who've got it first. And then like I just won't get it. And then so I got the call and I was like, oh, great.
Nice.
I didn't realise.
Yeah.
It was such a surprise.
Yeah, and I guess with project management, obviously it's a lot of events and sort of launches of stuff. Has that changed at all? Obviously working from home, virtual world, what's that been like to deal with?
So my day-to-day role hasn't changed too much. A lot of it's done online, and we already are like our colleagues in the R&D department who did all of the like formulation, etc. They already work in a separate office, so we already had quite a few calls online and working over Teams, etc. So not too much change from that perspective. And also, of course, because we're working on a global role, we have calls with the US,
of course,
with Southeast Asia, so we were quite used to things like that. I'd say the main thing that's changed is we used to do a lot of like workshops and trips to visit places, etc. for like inspiration, and we can't do any of that at the moment. And when we're trying to be creative, I think being creative can be quite hard stuck at like the same desk, whereas it's a lot more like of an enriching environment with lots of things.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess whether that's time in the office because you kind of spent a while there, or whether it's working from home, what's kind of the coolest thing you've worked on? Or you kind of mentioned you go on trips. Has there been really cool places that you've visited? Because I think that's a really amazing opportunity as an apprentice, obviously, that you get that is very different to kind of the university experience and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the favourite thing about my role is when we see the products launch in market, because it's such a proud, and we've just had most of the launches sort of happen around January time. So we've just had loads go out, and obviously we're not in the US, so we can't actually see them physically, but we're getting pictures of like the product that you wrote the text for on shelf, and it's so exciting to see that, okay, people are picking it up and I wrote that. Like,
that's so nice as well, because I think it's hard, isn't it, when you work, because for me, I work in digital marketing, and when it's all online, sometimes it's really nice to have like a tangible thing that you've done. Like that's so cool to be able to say, I've worked on that, that was me. It's so rewarding.
Yeah, and get the samples and be able to like give it out.
Use it. Amazing. Looking back to the application process, which I know was kind of a while for you, so it might be a tough one, but why do you think they hired you in the first place? Is there any prior knowledge you had to project management? Any experience that you think kind of made you stand out a little bit? Was it quite competitive? How many people applied, do you know, or that they took on?
I know they had about, I don't remember for the first round with the CVs, but I think for the video interview, they had about 100. And then for the assessment centre, there was probably around 20 of us, and about 8 or 9 maybe. So I'm not too sure how that compares to other apprenticeships in terms of like competitiveness. But I actually did my interview with the person who then became my manager. So I have like since spoken to her about, okay, like, what did I do well? Like, why did you pick me, essentially? And one thing she mentioned is that it's really important to just be yourself. And we went into the interview and it was really informal. We just had a chat about like what I wanted to do, what I've been doing at the moment, and how I am as a person. And we really got on very well. And then of course she'd seen about my skills and everything from the actual assessment part of the assessment centre. But then in the interview, I think we kept it a bit more relaxed. And obviously when you're hiring for someone, you want somebody that you know you're going to get on with when you're working, because you want to be people you like and you get on well with. So I think it's really important to just be yourself, and you want to work somewhere you're happy with and you like the people in your team.
Yeah, 100%. And I think for apprenticeships, they don't expect you to know everything about the role and the qualification you're going to be doing. They just want someone that's willing to learn. And like you said, is kind of genuinely driven and passionate about the company that they're going to work for and kind of the role that they will eventually get. So yeah, I think that's such an important point to raise to anyone kind of listening that's considering apprenticeships. So important to come across that way in your assessment centres, your interviews, because essentially that benefits you as well, right? So you get a feel for the company that you're going into. So
yeah.
but yeah, was there anything on your CV, like in terms of, I guess, practical experience? Had you done anything, maybe volunteering at college? What A-levels did you do? Do you think that, or did you do A-levels? You went to college, right?
Yeah, I did A-levels at college.
Okay.
So I did English, language and literature, the combined one,
Yeah.
French and sociology. And I'd been working since I was 14, so I had got quite a bit of job experience behind me. I've always been someone who likes to be busy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Like I just can't stand to not have things to do, or, when you're in the school holidays.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so this pandemic hasn't been the best, has it, for people like me and you?
Exactly, yeah. But I think like lots of people on the apprenticeship had varying levels of experience. Some had worked in like I've had done other apprenticeships and then started another one. Some had no career experience or work experience at all and had just been education. And I think it's really, as an apprentice, you're not expected to have experience. You're starting your career, you'll learn as an apprentice. So I think, don't worry too much if you've not got 5 years worth of job behind you. Like they don't expect
that. It's not expected completely. And I guess looking forward, so you mentioned you're coming towards the end of the apprenticeship. Are you kind of going through the process of exams? What do the job prospects look like at Unilever? Is it guaranteed jobs, or do you kind of have to move on to something else?
Yeah, so I've just done my first exam actually, and the only exam for the course. So we have one exam to get the APM qualification, which is like a registered project management qualification. And then afterwards you have your endpoint assessment, which is more like the coursework you do showing the skills. I think most
I have that. So maybe
like
all over qualifications.
Yeah, I think so. So now we're working towards that, so getting all the coursework, and then you finish like what they call your portfolio, which is a collection of the personal statements you've written, and then you go to do like an interview and a presentation. At least in my apprenticeship, that's what we do. So in terms of next steps, I haven't started looking for like my next jobs quite yet, because my contract finishes September, so it's early to start applying at the moment, but I'm quite open. I'd love to stay on at Unilever. At the moment with COVID, like jobs everywhere are a bit
sparse.
What's happening, but definitely I'll be applying for my role. I'll be applying for other Unilever roles, and then if there's anything external that I like the look of, I'll be applying there as well. Yeah,
great. Okay. And what's sort of the possibility of you staying on at Unilever? Is that normal for apprentices to stay on? Is it likely?
I think so. I think quite a few apprentices stay on. So I'm on a level 4 apprenticeship. So some do like their level 3 or level 4 and then go on to a level 6. So that's definitely something that happens quite often. Or your team will keep you on and promote you. Like it's very open. It really depends on the team itself and like the team budget and if the team needs you in that role.
I don't know if kind of like people listening will be familiar with this term, but in sort of businesses they have this thing called headcount, which is like the amount of people that you have the budget for, I guess, to hire on your team. So that was kind of my situation with Google. There was a lot of chats around, is there enough headcount? And that's kind of allocated at certain times of the year and stuff. So yeah, it's really interesting to hear your perspective of being inside Unilever. It seems quite flexible and fluid, which is promising, I guess, because you kind of get rewarded with a prospect at the end of the apprenticeship.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it's really important to try and make as many connections whilst you're in the business. Obviously, I work in my own. So you end up meeting lots of people who work for the brand or who work supporting the brand in some way. But try and make connections outside of your team or from different offices, because you never know when they can come and help.
Yeah. I completely agree with that, especially in a huge company like Unilever. You know, there's so much opportunity to do that. So yeah, kind of take advantage of it whilst you're still there. But good luck with everything in the future and kind of finding a job. I hope it all works out for you.
Thank you.
But I guess just to finish off, like one piece of advice for someone considering an apprenticeship, or maybe your biggest takeaway from the apprenticeship you've got so far, would be great to kind of finish on that note and hear kind of what the most impactful thing has been for your apprenticeship.
I'd say to go into an apprenticeship expecting that you won't know a lot and that it's going to be a little bit overwhelming at first. Coming from when you're doing your A-levels and you feel quite secure that you've got these great grades and you're going to go forward to the next stage of your life and you're starting your career, it's going to be brilliant. And it is going to be brilliant, but remember that you're coming into a company and it might be a little bit scary because you don't know all the terms that people are using. Everybody is maybe 10 years older than you and they've got a lot more experience behind you, but remember that they're there to support you. They're going to help you as much as possible. And then you'll look back, and honestly, I look back at the work I did when I just started and I compare it to the stuff I did now, and I'm so proud of myself because you see the like growth and how much more you can do and how much more confident you are as a person. And honestly, you grow so much from all the different experience you've got.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. And I often say I feel like I've come into the apprenticeship as one person and left as another, because I've just developed so much professionally and personally. It's benefited all areas of my life. So yeah, it's been a great decision. And it's good to hear, I think you're kind of on the same page. So yeah, thank you so much for all your insight today. And hopefully people have been able to take away something from this podcast episode. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me, Emilie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
If you did enjoy the episode, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share with any friends or family that you think might find this useful. There are so many other episodes with incredible guests, so don't forget to check those out. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Your Future Forward, where we share loads of different career advice and tips to help you navigate this working world. Thanks again for listening to this episode, and I really hope you enjoyed it.